Oakland, mine.
That borrow flannel from a lumberjack, Daniel drinking uncle and handle your scandal. What power passed down from life forms that's on your mantle. I always look up at the stars in the sky and the ones in the eyes of I am a Yaba and I be mama. 1, 2, 3. 30-day babe challenge. It was hella on. We're fucking tight.
We're hella tight, actually. Go Black people.
Thank you for joining us on this listening journey of diverse Bay Area talent, where we're creating appreciation, inspiration, and pride because we do what?
Show love the back.
Exactly. Coco is so loving. All right, and today we're gonna do
Amani Jade's album, Amani Jade and AJ, day number 6, and welcome.
Coco. Welcome to our challenge. Joining us. I know you've been joining as a listener. Now you're on a review, so thank you so much.
It's lit.
Yes.
Yay.
You're lit.
Straight up. We all lit.
And she's featured. She's coming up. Her and ST Spittin'. Check out her music. So dope. We're going to do a whole review about it, but today's about me.
You.
So now, please.
Self-love.
Car facts.
So as always, we're going to go ahead and start with the car facts. And right here in our corner today, liner notes. The song "Think About" was produced by K Rebel, Fan B, featuring the fam, like our whole family, everybody. Okay.
And there's a video for that.
Yay! And BMM features Zia Mora.
ZMR did a beautiful, wonderful job singing on that track. She is dope as well. And it was produced by Professor X. Yep. R.I.P.
And Welcome features AD, produced by Oteo Dub. Whirlwind Pop, featuring Tattoo Vision, also produced by Tahaj the First. Street Boy, produced by White, Mike, and Brucey. Shout out to the Step Zaddy, or should I say Waddy?
Waddy is what we call him.
Free Mind, featuring Jay Amani, produced by White, Mike, and Brucey. Make Me Wonder, featuring K Rebel, produced by K Rebel. Yes. And it's recorded by D Wiz.
Yes.
Okay.
Shout out to you, D Wiz. B Pause Music. Miss you. Yeah. And mixed and mastered by Bruce of Data Stream Studios. And Jeff Rentala did the artwork. The artwork is actually me and my dad when we met the first time when we first met.
Yep.
So
AKA The Birth. Right? And I also want to talk about some of the things that she's done with her art and with her creativity. First of all, she is the inspiration and idea and a big part of the driving force for this entire series, okay? So give her credit for that, you know what I'm saying? Second of all, one of the founding members of the Women's Creative Collective, which created the Sister Cypher, which is, in my opinion, was one of the dopest ciphers to come out of Oakland in the last 10 years. It was lit. And it created opportunities and avenues for artists all across the Bay, including a lot of artists who are on this list. And more shout outs to her. Also working with TPC. She also works with several of the artists, again, who are on this list, like Mystic. And she is so much more powerful than she may be willing to admit to herself. And if she ain't going to say it, I say it for her. Okay? Powerful.
That's right.
10 on 10 all day, every day. You feel me?
Yeah. So it's real boom bap. Real boom bap. And you know why?
Why?
Because my stepdad, White Mike, said, I will help you make your first project if you let me pick all the beats. I enjoyed writing all the lyrics. That was kind of the extent of me putting myself into it. I just wrote everything, even the things where people lent their voices on the hooks. I wrote those hooks and I asked them to do that. People can just make it so much fuller. When Xiomara came to do the hook for BMM, she did more than I could have even imagined. Because why? She's a vocalist. That's her craft. Yeah. So she said the words that I wrote, but then she sang them, and then she sang the backgrounds, and then she added the melodies, and she was such a professional. She's so dope.
So, Coco, what do you think as far as the sound and the production of the album?
I'm so glad you asked. Well, yeah, boom bap was the first phrase that came to mind. Feel good, emotional, hip hop. Like, this is 100% a hip hop project. It's 100% Bay. Stylistic, I was like, oh, I actually hear some Mystic up in this. Also, Amani's delivery really felt like some Ladybug from Diggable Planet.
Wow.
Like,
Thanks.
But I also heard like Hyro and Freestyle Fellowship type vibes too.
Wow.
Yeah. So
so complimented.
Yes. And specifically though, this like about the sound, I feel like the production was dope, but she wasn't mimicking anyone else. This is literally, if you know her, it's like listening to her basically chop it up with you, but rapping. Which also, for me, as an MC and a like absolute obsessive lover of hip hop, I love it when I can listen to a project and I don't feel like the MC forced the shit. It actually is like a natural flow. It was so conversational and so natural, and it made me wonder what the fuck is going to happen on the next project. Where is she going? Because a lot of people's first projects, the delivery doesn't start out like this smooth. People have to really work at that shit. So,
Wow.
Oh, the other thing stylistically, it reminded me of All Hail the Queen, of Queen Latifah's album All Hail the Queen, where she's rapping, but she has vocalizing. For example, on the song Make Me Wanna, that really brought me back to All Hail the Queen and how Queen Latifah would lace her background vocals. And later on in her career, as we know, she really let her vocals flow. You feel me? I wasn't trying to rhyme, but sometimes, it just, you feel me? But so I felt like, ooh, the way that she's vibing on this with her vocals, it made me hungry for more. When I saw her rap the first time and perform, I really seen like hip hop embodied as a young Black female. From the words, from the flow, from the delivery, from the vibes, from the body movement. As an MC, she is fully embodied and there. And it comes, I think that's so important to just like underline, like delivery is wet and very authentic. That's the other thing I'll say. Very authentic.
What I would like you to speak on is the process of really sitting down and creating this album and some of the themes and some of the ideas that inspired you. Even the name RJ to AJ. Let the people know where that comes from.
I actually have that tattooed on me. This tattoo right here, SF, because my dad had this giant symbol right here on his arm. He had my name in a heart on his chest, this side. And so it has that, and then on the top it says 143, and then it says RJ to AJ. And that was a memorializing piece that I got. It's the only tattoo that I have. It might be the only tattoo that I ever have. And so when I started to do the music, I was thinking, I don't really know if there's a theme or like a story of the project. It's just me finally putting out a project. It's me finally putting my lyrics to beats in a whole cohesive thing that's not me with other people or just like a one-off. It's my whole thing, and the perfect theme for it was just I'm sharing this gift that he gave to me. Now it's through me, and here's the project. So everything I talked about just was what was happening for me in my life. The first song, Think About, I actually wrote when I was 16, and I was deeply depressed and just in a tunnel of grief over losing my dad. And so I wrote that at that time. Everything else I wrote closer to 2016. Yeah, I want to say I wrote Think About in 2009 or something. But I wasn't thinking about anything but what I was going through as a teenager. However, it ended up being a perfect song to add to this. As Mike would show me beats, and I'd be like, okay, that one, what's coming to me? I'm going to write it. I was working at Prescott as an after-school teacher, so a part of what happened for me as a young person was, one, I did a lot of writing, because that was my vehicle to heal and to express. And two, I was very convicted about working with kids. And I ended up like dropping out of regular high school and being on independent study for most of my high school, and then going back to a continuation school to try to graduate on time, which I did, which I was able to speak at my graduation about why my journey was so alternative and not what anyone foreshadowed for me, especially not me, because it got harder for me and I needed more and I was looking for more, and some people had it for me and some people didn't. And I just knew I want to be there for young people when they're going through things. That feeling I had before I went through all this is even more magnified, period. And I still work with kids. So I have Street Boy, which is a song basically to the children. I have Free Mind because it was just a really dope time. I was working as an after school teacher. So I'm like in front of a class full of 4th graders. And I'm managing that class. I'm building with that class. We're a community in that class. That in itself was really beautiful. And then I'm doing this WCC stuff. So I'm building in community now. I'm like hosting the cipher. I'm ciphering. I'm at the community center every other week. And it was just so much blooming and blossoming happening. And so Free Mind was like, I'm on my way to work, but I'm thinking about Sister Cypher after work. I have things to look forward to. I'm like happy about what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I'm walking down the street at that particular time. Like I remember going to Prescott once and I walk up to the school and I'm like, where's everybody? And then after school begins and they're like, oh, well, there was a shooting, so we were on lockdown. And I'm like, it could be scary to know that I can walk to my job and not know that there was a lockdown because of something that just happened. But imagine what the kids feel like. That's where they live. Right across the street from the village. This is their home. And that's where all of these things are going on. So yes, as an outsider, you might see it like, well, isn't that a scary place? Isn't that like make you not want to work there? Like, no, being with them makes me want to be there more. And it reminded me of that song by Chance when he's like, I know you scared. You should ask us if we scared too. It just made me think of that. So Free Mind kind of came from that. You know, I'm walking down the street, feet meet the pavement. They sent the sun just to say it's still shining. And then it flips like, actually, I'm lying. It's actually not a sunny day. Like, shit is going down, but my mind is free. I'm not walking around in fear. I'm living in my purpose. And then one last song I want to talk about how I came. BMM. So I'm walking down the street, downtown Oakland, afternoon, hustle and bustle. This brother comes walking towards me. And these 2 corporate type of women are in front of me. And he's like, how y'all doing today? And they just kept talking. And they were just like, so anyway. And I'm right behind him. And as I saw it, I'm like, oh, wow. Hi. How are you doing? He's like, I'm good. And I'm like, you stay good. Like, I saw that happen. That was some bullshit. And we all keep walking. Like, it all happened all in passing. And that was like, oh, you just made this whole ass nigga invisible. Wow. I get attention. Mostly probably because I'm a female. But I'm a black person also. So that just really didn't sit right with me. And that's what BMM is about. It made me think about my dad's experience as a black man, as a person who used to hustle on the street, as a person who's been incarcerated. It made me think about the many black men that I've loved, especially who I've lost to gun violence, and all the different pressure points. I mean, you know how we are, us black women. We love to think about those that we love. So BMM is like that. And then it's a play on Biggie. Black male misunderstood, and it's still all good.
Back to you, Coco. Tell us more about what you think about the messaging of this project.
Messaging for me, really in a nutshell, black feminism, gentrification, anti-black racism and violence, police violence, black liberation, women's liberation, life, hip-hop, mental elevation, positive vibes. So if I was to boil it down to like one phrase, it would be Black Girl Magic. But if you look also at the photo, like the cover art of her and her father, it really does remind me a bit of Illmatic, especially because this is Amani's freshman album. Very appropriate choice.
Thank you.
Okay. I was thinking the black hip hop Bay girl next door. That's like, that's like when people are like, who is Amani Jade? What is she like? Like that's what I'll be like. Well, she's like the black hip hop Bay girl next door.
I love that.
I feel it.
hella real, especially given from where you're from and what you talk about. My top favorite tracks were Unwelcome, where you really talk a lot about San Francisco. There's hella metaphors, a lot about anti-Black racism and about gentrification. And each of your songs, you jumped right in. You didn't hold back. Like from the first sentence of the first bar, you brought us in. I felt like I was in a movie where I wasn't thinking about or really aware of the world outside of the world that you were painting with your storytelling, with your bars. One of my favorite lines from Unwelcome featuring AD was, still call the bay my bay, but city broke my heart like it cheated. And then after that, there were like 3 or 4 more bars that just were like, I was like, what? What? Another line from that song is gentrifolk don't quit as they getting paid off. That's the only way
to feel legit.
That's the only way to feel legit. I was like, poetry snap, killing it. Will you spit that for us one time? Will you speak love?
Yes. Still call the bay my bay, but city broke my heart like it cheated. I break with my brothers with beers and costumes, cause we needed to mask and recollect what's left behind. My sister fall in line for who and what I cry for in the wake of his destruction and hometown demise. A place she loves to live that I despise, since infiltrated by spies of all kinds, diversified. Fake friends flock for finance, causing infanticide. An infant when he died, like, welcome to San Francisco. Yeah, my dad was he was killed on the same block that we were staying on his way home, and that's the house where also my little sister, like that's the first house where she was every day from RJ to AJ, but also then I think of her because she was just a year and a half years old. Thank you for that.
That's why I wanted you to talk about it, because there's so much behind it, and I feel like people need to know. People need to know like where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Because you are such a powerful figure, and not just powerful by itself, but powerful especially in the face of adversity. The way that you handle those things, the way that you're able to process those things at such a young age, you know, and get through your own process and come out on the other side just infinitely stronger, only to get infinitely stronger after that. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know, my favorite song, speaking of those times, is Think About Me. And I really remember this song because, like, the first time I heard it, I think it might have been at Ellen Bluford or something. And when I heard it, I was like, golly, this song is so, like, deep. And it just, like, touches so many different kinds of people. Like, who does stop to think about these people? Like, for real. And, like, that's such a real thing. And knowing the history of the song and where it comes from and when she wrote it, it's like, I can imagine your 15, 16-year-old self feeling those things. I can imagine a 15-year-old, 16-year-old girl writing this song and, like, going through these feelings and being able to just display them in this way and still relating to other people and what they're going through at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And it's powerful. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough words in the dictionary to describe that level of power and creativity.
Thank you.
Yes.
What you're saying is reminding me of, I asked my mom to talk about what it was like from her perspective to see me go through that particular time. I felt alone a lot and isolated, but the truth is, if anybody was with me, it was her. I really appreciate her for that. So I'm going to share this little thing with y'all. She liked to brag on me too, so that's cute. Tell me if you can hear this.
Amani Jade. Man, she was definitely a daddy's girl. She was his everything. So when he was murdered, that just shattered her whole world. And she went from being this vibrant, outgoing sweetheart to just kind of dull, like she was dulled inside. She just couldn't understand how kids are just still walking around and tripping off little silly things when she's got this big hole in her heart. What I remember the most is her cry. I mean, she cried every day, but there was this one cry. I remember driving through this plaza to pick her up, and I hear these screams, like screams. screams from around the corner. I'm like, is that Monty? And then when I came around the corner, I saw her boyfriend. He was trying to hold her up, and she was falling. And he's just trying to keep her from, like, losing her whole self into this sadness. And I remember her just going from his arms to my arms, wishing I could take the pain away. But then, you know, eventually she got it together. She turned her braids around. She got a little excited about her 17th birthday, and that's when she wrote It's My Night. So I remember being really happy to watch her just be excited about writing this song and playing it for her friends when they come. And I remember thinking that her dad left her with a gift. She was a really good lyricist. She just puts the thoughts and ideas together with so much passion and so much skill. I was just really happy to see that, because that means she's always going to be connected to her dad in that way. He rapped, he made beats, all that stuff too. So that was like a big part of him. Hip hop was big. So this will be her forever connection. And basically, I think, you know, music and her connection to it, how she sees it, it saved her life. And my baby girl got skills. I know my mama, but still, you can't deny it. Amani Jade.
#1 fan shit right there.
That should need to be an intro to an album or something.
Girl, that's what I was like. Oh my God, my eyes are wet.
So when is the next project coming out?
It's being mixed and mastered. It's called The Cleansing.
Okay.
It's incredibly vulnerable and personal, and I'm back and forth about just putting it out and just letting it be. But also, it deserves me to put it out intentionally. When we get the chance to be together again, I can do something to honor it. But it's called The Cleansing. Bright Khan is producing it. So it's been really great working with him. It's really dope. And I'm just ready to do new music, happy music, celebrate music, love music. Yeah. To me, it's like 2 levels to the art. It's like I do it for my own personal healing, and that produces one type of sound and one type of wavelength, right? And then when I'm well, when I'm much better, when I'm happy, I'm not being confined, and I'm free, I'm liberated, so now my mind can be as creative and imaginative as it wants. That's where I want to go with the music. And I'm happy doing this 30-day challenge. This is exciting and inspiring. Straight up, man. And it's musical and it's fun. Makes me dance. I haven't done that in a while, so that's good.
Oh yeah, you didn't mention you're like one of the best dancers. Period.
She hit her on all fronts.
From every corner.
Just
Thank you.
At the same time. Multi-talented.
Yeah.
And speaking of talent, we do have some honorable mention. If you like Amani Jade, RJ to AJ, then we think that you would also like
Coco Pela for one, but she has her own review coming up. Boo!
Look out for
but
it.
Also, shout out to Omi the Homie out of the city, Versoul out of the city. That's my Black Asian
Malaysian
San Franciscan reflections. I'll put their links down below with our stuff as well. Tune in for when we have Coco Pela. We've got Mac Dre
tomorrow,
and then Coco and ST Spittin'.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you.
You're hella bomb, and I'm excited that folks get to witness this journey and get to hear about you, because you've got it. Certain people are anointed, and you are anointed. You're a blessing for all of us. You bring love and enlightenment, fun and joy and healing wherever you go. And so people would be lucky just to listen to your project to get a little bit of that vibration. You are a gift, and I'm very excited. You're the real thing.